Let's just be clear. He didn't win the election. He didn't catch any rigging of the election. The opposite has happened at every turn of litigation and fact-finding about that issue. And in fact, there's even now audio proof of the president acknowledging that. But he wants you to believe that the democracy is at risk. You can judge that the way you want. Now, how should we judge what he just said about Geraldo? Let's bring in NewsNation correspondent at large, Geraldo Rivera. Thank you very much for being Johnny on the spot. I know that you are on break, so thank you for this interruption. What do you make of these musings?
Well, I'm here with our friends, Eric and I, with our friends Karen and Chip Chaikin in Canada, when Dusty. I feel nothing but melancholy and a wistful kind of friendship lost. It's like I like the president very much. I still like him, except what he did on January 6th. That kind of ended our relationship. But he called our house periodically. It was not me that called the president. I hate to contradict him. I don't want to get into a big pissing match with the president, a former president of the United States. But he used to call on a regular basis. He called Friday, the 13th of November, 10 days after the election in 2020. And we did have a conversation. He called me. I felt awful about it. I wanted to console him for his loss, his very tight loss. But he lost, and he started asking me about things like, have I heard about Dominion? One of the computer companies that counts votes that he alleged was run by Hugo Chavez or some absurd kind of surmise. I feel bad when listen. You and I have been friends for a long time. We have a kind of love for each other. We care about each other. I care about the former president of the United States. We used to be close. We used to, I loved being on The Apprentice in the last year that he did it. He was very kind to me. He was kind to Erica. He was kind to my family. When my daughter Sol started crying, he consoled her, my 10-year-old at the time. He was very, very sweet and considerate and compassionate. I don't want to fight with him, and I hate that reporters are trying to make something of this that wasn't there. Even listening to him, it sounds like he misses me. I miss him too, but I can't support him because of what he did on January 6th, Chris.
We know he monitors NewsNation. What do you want him to know?
Just that I still love him, and that I remember the good times. I remember going to the fights in Atlantic City and just hanging out and talking about life. And he was for me. He was like my rabbi, like on The Apprentice. I should have been thrown out on The Apprentice. They had one of the Jonas brothers, and I were head to head, and he took my side, even though NBC producers were saying, no, take the Jonas brother. He's better for the demo than that old man. Trump stuck by me, and it's been a relationship that was very easy, very natural over the years. We started together in New York in the mid-1970s. I feel awful about the way things have turned out. I feel awful that he has in his mind this obsession that the election was fixed. I think that he's done a lot of harm to the Constitution. But I just want him to know that I have no ill will toward Donald Trump at all. That I choose to remember the good times that we had, Chris.
Well, I think it's a very important instruction for people about the difference between the two men. You don't do tit for tat. Once somebody's in your heart, they're in your heart. There's nothing transactional about your friendship. I don't think the same can be said about your friend, the former president. But I appreciate you for checking in from vacation and speaking from the heart to the audience. I appreciate you, big brother. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.